In this next article from Newsweek, ex-Minneapolis cop charged in George Floyd's death now said he was watching the hostile crowd, not fellow officers. Video released Friday shows one of the ex-Minneapolis Police Department officers charged in George Floyd's death, telling investigators his job was to watch the hostile crowd, not the deadly arrest. 1 hour, 40 minutes voluntary interview of the former MPD officer Tao Thao was recorded 8 days after the May 25th fentanyl and meth overdose of George Floyd, because he had 11 nanograms per milliliter of fentanyl in his blood, and 0.75 nanograms per milliliter is a lethal dose. So you do the math, that's 14 lethal doses of fentanyl in George Floyd's system. You can look it up in the toxicology report. It's actually true. So I noticed this because I studied the crowd in the George Floyd death. Like I studied this video. I think the New York Times did a good job with this video. This is the video of the George Floyd drug overdose.
It's a Monday evening in Minneapolis.
And so here we're going to see,
neck,
here is
torso and legs.
The cops
at 8:20
subduing
p.m., we hear
the
Floyd's voice for the first time.
Drugged out criminal.
The video stops when Lane appears to tell the person filming to walk away. The officers radio a code 2, a call for non-emergency medical assistance, reporting an injury to Floyd's mouth. In the background, we can hear Floyd struggling.
Can we get EMS code 2? We're out bleeding from the mouth.
The call is quickly upgraded to a code 3, a call for emergency medical assistance.
EMS code 3.
By now, another bystander, 17-year-old Darnella Frazier, is filming from a different angle. Her footage shows that despite calls for medical help, Chauvin keeps Floyd pinned down for another 7 minutes. We can't see whether Koenig and Lane are still applying pressure.
What do you want?
That's one key. We don't know if they're applying pressure because you can't see it. They're on the other side of the car.
I can breathe. Please, the knee in my dick. I can't breathe shit.
Bro, get up, get in the car, man.
I will.
Get up, get in the car.
I can't move.
I've been waiting the whole time, man. Get up, get in the car.
Mama.
Get up and get in the car right.
I can't.
In the two videos, Floyd can be heard telling officers that he can't breathe at least 16 times in less than 5 minutes.
I cannot breathe.
But he was also complaining that he couldn't breathe when he was in the car. That was why he was on the ground.
I cannot breathe.
But Chauvin never takes his knee off of Floyd, even as his eyes close and he appears to go unconscious.
Look at him.
Because he OD'd on fentanyl.
Get off of him now. What is wrong with y'all? What the fuck?
See, look.
He got mace.
According to medical...
So you notice Officer Chauvin pulled out mace. They're saying you have to focus on the drugged out dude who's ODing on the ground, saying like you're killing this dude and that you need to give him medical attention. But whenever you have a big, huge crowd of people who are surrounding you, now the police are now not focused on giving medical treatment to the person ODing on fentanyl. Now they are worried about protecting themselves from not only the crowd, but also, too, from any sort of legal repercussions that they could get from a lawsuit.
Medical and policing experts, these 4 police officers are committing a series of actions that violate policies and in this case turn fatal. They've kept Floyd lying face down, applying pressure for at least 5 minutes. This combined action is likely compressing his chest and making it impossible to breathe. Chauvin is pushing his knee into Floyd's neck, a move banned by most police departments.
Bro, he's not moving.
No, did they fucking kill him, bro?
Minneapolis Police Department policy states an officer can only do this if someone is, quote, actively resisting. And even though the officers call...
Now, actively resisting means that you resisted arrest at some point in time, and then that force is allowed to be used until you are then inside of the jail cell or the police car. So what that does not mean is that you what that doesn't mean is that you can like resist arrest and then the police don't have to like continue to subdue you. No, when you start resisting arrest, you're subdued until you're thrown in the jail cell of the police car and then you're taken off, right? It doesn't just like stop whenever you start having a health problem because people aren't psychic and they don't know what your health problem is. Nor are they a doctor.
They take no action to treat Floyd on their own while waiting for the ambulance to arrive.
You think that's okay? Check his pulse.
Check his right.
Check his pulse. Get back in the check. The man ain't moved yet, bro.
According to the complaints against the officers, Lane asks him twice if they should roll Floyd onto his side. Chauvin says no. 20 minutes into the arrest, an ambulance arrives on the scene.
Get off of his neck.
The EMTs check Floyd's pulse.
Are you serious?
Chauvin keeps his knee on Floyd's neck for almost another whole minute, even though Floyd appears completely unresponsive. He only gets off once the EMTs tell him to. Chauvin's kept his knee on Floyd's neck for a total of 8 minutes and 46 seconds, according to the complaint filed against him.
But he did not have his weight on the neck. So I wrestled in high school. I know what that looks like. When you put your weight on somebody's neck.
Bro.
When you put somebody's... Here, this is what it looks like when you put weight. So, you see, I'm pushed forward. Here's what it looks like when you're not putting weight. This one was down, right? Right. So he had this knee down, but he wasn't leaned forward, right? He's leaned back. And so studies have shown that he only had about 100 pounds of weight on George Floyd's neck. And that's not enough to actually kill someone. But here's the killer. Little piece of information.
Only do this if someone is, quote, actively resisting.
They did not tell you.
20, even though Floyd appeared unresponsive, loaded into the ambulance. The ambulance leaves the scene, possibly because a crowd is forming, but the EMTs call for additional medical help from the fire department.
You added fire to your run?
But when the engine arrives, the officers give them, quote, no clear info on Floyd or his whereabouts.
Floyd has been in the ambulance for many minutes at this point in time,
according to a fire department incident report. This delays their ability to help the paramedics. Meanwhile, Floyd is going into cardiac arrest.
You just heard it. Floyd went into the ambulance. After some number of minutes in the ambulance, George Floyd then had a heart attack in the ambulance and he died. And so when he was on the ground, he was not dead. He had indeed overdosed on fentanyl and methamphetamines. And he also had COVID. And he was also very, very, very drunk too. So all these race riots, they're over fake news. So here in this next tweet from @Melvaz22, here we can...
Are we not matter? Did his life matter or not? Violent group. I guess
I want to ask you a question.
Lunatic.
So your point is that all lives matter?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage.
All lives matter?
Someone from the other side.
So what about the African Americans in this country being killed solely because of the color of their skin? You're gonna tell me that people are not being killed because they're black.
Answer one question.
Well, yeah, they are being killed because they're black, but they're getting killed by other black people. I mean, there's almost 10,000 by other black people every year in the United States. So
I get one question. I'll walk
Go
away.
ahead.
If Black Lives Matter so much,
Why are blacks killing each other in record rates all over the country?
Are you kidding me?
See, they don't believe
Black
that.
people are being killed by the people who are sworn in to protect them. The system that swears to protect them is the same system killing them. Yeah, how are you going to tell me no?
You don't have the facts.
Your people are not being killed because they're white. Black people are being killed because they are black. Solely because
Really? Okay, so then why is it then that a black person is half as likely to get killed by a white cop than a black cop? Can you explain that one to me?
because they are black. George Floyd was...
If you can explain that one to me, comment on issue ticket 77. You find the link at realsimplenews.net/issue 77.
killed because he was black. Breonna Taylor was killed.
Are you listening to the black conservatives who are reaching out to all Brandon Taylor, Candace Owens, David Harris Jr. Are you listening to any of these people?
You come and join us.
Please record me because Black Lives Matter all day, every day. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives
Reach out
Matter.
to davidharrisjr.com and you listen to him.
Your son is black, then you shouldn't be here. You should know better then you should know better than to be
Then
here.
you're the racist.
No, I'm not
my son's black, I
racist.
can't
Your son
be
is
here.
black. You should not be at a Trump rally.
No, first of all,
And that's really what it all is about. It's all about hatred of Donald Trump. Somehow Donald Trump is like the one running all these big cities run by Democrats. I guess it's the racist Republicans who are holding down the African Americans in the big cities because the rural states are the red states and the red states are the poorer states. So it's the poor white people in the rural states that are holding down the African American and the WAMN in the Kleenex in the cities. This next tweet from @AlphaNewsMN. John Thompson recently won his primary in 67A.
Klan exists in Hugo, Minnesota, and it's right here. Don't
St.
run
Paul,
now.
he goes out
Don't
screaming at the
run
kids.
now, racist white people. I'm here. Oh
Say
yeah, we
F
pull up.
Hugo,
Pull
Minnesota.
the fuck up. I'm right here. Come on over here with your Blue Lives Matter sign. Blue lives ain't shit. And if people in Hugo don't support black people, fuck Hugo, Minnesota. I meant to say that. Now we can get to what I was talking about.